Yo, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Pontiac WYAC and the place to be. We are here. We here and we here. I wasn't going to come. I was going to wait till Saturday to come on, but I'm going to be predisposed or preoccupied until this Saturday maybe. And then when Saturday comes along, I might just want to lay down and go to sleep. Before I get started, have you ever been so tired that you just come home? Like yesterday I came home. It was feeling good outside up here in Michigan, roughly the Metro Detroit area. It was like 70 degrees. I came home, I ate, and I fell asleep till like 10 o'clock at night. Then I got up and I had still some more work to do, but hey, that's what we signed up for. Anyhow, today was a little bit different. I was able to get some nap time yesterday, get a little bit of sleep afterwards, but now we back, and I figure, like, you know what, I don't want to be gone too long. And so we here tonight. Not going to keep you long at all. But tonight I kind of want to brush over and talk about, if you could, go ahead and please share. I would appreciate it. So tonight we'll be talking about a little bit like what's going on with the Iran situation. But also as a precursor, we're going to start off with Jesse Jackson Jr. Jesse Jackson Jr., what he had to say about, he was a little bit upset, y'all. Jesse Jackson Jr. was a little upset about what happened with his father's funeral. I sent a couple of links out today to a couple of people who want to join. So go ahead and check your emails. You know who you are, who I sent the emails to. If you'd like to go ahead and join, please do. I'm going to bring up the phone number if you want to. But this first story that we're going to be getting into right now, let me go ahead and switch and do my news thing. Boom. First thing we're going to get into tonight is Jesse Jackson's son. Actually was, he had some choice select words for, actually for 3 presidents that came in and talked at his dad's funeral. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and we can go ahead and talk about it as we go forward.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours.
Then watch Al Sharpton go sit himself. Al Sharpton himself, like he gonna go sit his tail down, yeah, and go sit down. But listen.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours.
Watch Al Sharpton go sit his pencil head self down.
Of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least.
Al Sharpton gonna go sit himself down. Al Sharpton is something else, man. Like, I done spoke on Al Sharpton before a couple times. Let me make sure that Al Sharpton is something else. Like I said, I seen him come to the city of Pontiac. I wasn't impressed with Al Sharpton at all. Not from what he talks about to what he was when I saw him when he got here. I mean, I seen him twice. Once at Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, and once at Trinity. I didn't see him in person in Trinity, but the last time he was here at Trinity probably was during the campaign trail. And I know that's when he came. But when I saw him and I heard a message from him, it was roughly 15 years ago, roughly. And he came to Welcome Missionary Baptist Church. And all he did was ask, he pounded a victimization message for like maybe 10 minutes. And then he started asking for money. And I was like, okay. So this is like the Chitlin circuit. You go around to town to town to town to town, poor city, black, more or less urban cities, and you give a message of the same repeat. It's like you go see Dr. Dre or Nas, or you go see Eddie Murphy. They got the same show. They go town to town to town, and he go to town to town to town with the same message. Then he asks for money. But at least with Nas and them, you're getting some entertainment. You know what you're going for. But Al Sharpton is funny, man. But anyhow, this is Jesse Jackson Jr. talking about how, they exploited his dad's funeral as a way to politicize agendas.
Of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people.
Yeah,
it speaks volumes about who the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
He went and set himself down, as he should. You know what I'm saying? But Jesse Jackson Jr. more or less, he condemned Bill Clinton. He condemned. I ain't gonna say condemn, but he condemned. Yeah, I'll just use that word. He condemned Jesse Jackson, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Kamala Harris, because he said that they didn't, number one, know who his dad was, and then number two, they politicized the same thing that he asked them not to do. And that was, and a lot of people were struck and thrown off by that. And I want to actually, I don't have it pulled up, but I'm gonna play a couple of things where some people had some reactionary to it. This woman reacts, and then we're gonna go into what happened with what's going on with the war. But this is something that I want you guys to hear. Let me see if I can pull this up. We're not going to Rex, Jesse Jackson. I don't want to pull up Anton stuff. I might have to pull this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull this up. This somebody else's, but I'm gonna have to pull this up. So let's go ahead and listen to this. Hold on one second here. You guys got to hear it. All right.
She got up there talking about nothing. Because this is a woman that don't even know what kind of...
All right, here we go. Let's listen.
And then Kamala Chameleon Harris, the loser that won't claim defeat. She got up there talking about nothing. Because this is a woman that don't even know what kind of race she is. She don't know if she's Indian. She don't know if she's white. She don't know if she's black. She don't even know. She don't even know if she want to be Southern or Northern accent. Only whenever it see fit. That's why I call her Karma Chameleon Harris. And then she sat up there and nobody cares about you, woman. You ran off props. You didn't deliver nothing. You would have been the worst motherfucking Indian, Hispanic, white, black woman, whatever race you want to follow. You'd have been the worst woman smoking. So,
oh man.
Now this woman went off completely off the rocker, off the hinge, concerning Jesse Jackson, her reaction, more or less, of what was going on. As far as a lot of people was upset about people taking advantage of Jesse Jackson's funeral to politicize a message, and a lot of people were upset behind that. A lot of people felt like, number one, Jesse Jackson, I don't know if he really even liked Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? They gave him an opportunity because he was a president to speak. But that's real disrespectful. When somebody have you come to their funeral or invite you to speak at a funeral and they give you instructions like, yo, let's not take it there. Let's go ahead and, if you want to come and honor my dad or mom or whoever the case may be, especially if there's a public figure, let's keep it down the line and down the middle. Isaiah Thomas spoke at the funeral. He did a wonderful job. Isaiah Thomas talked about how Jesse Jackson impacted him in his life in the early ages when he was in Chicago, how he gave him hope, how his message resonated throughout the neighborhood, especially in Chicago where he's from. But when you got these, Chris Tucker came and gave a perfect, it was kind of funny, but it gave a great speech, more or less, how Jesse Jackson impacted him and the things that between them, that transpired that made him a better person. But then you had these three presidents that came and they politicized, or three ex-presidents or two presidents ex, and where you had Obama, you had Clinton, and then you had Kamala, vice president or whatever, came and politicized a message. And that's what Jesse Jackson Jr. was really upset about, with that situation with that. So, a lot of people was really upset about that. I want another reaction. I want to catch another reaction, but it was, it wasn't good. It was a poor taste. You know what I'm saying? Everything doesn't have to be a moment to politicize things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not. So I wanted to go ahead and recognize that. Let's see if I can pull up one more. And then we gonna move on, because I think this was I think this was something that was important to discuss. Let's go ahead and share this. This is another brother that I do watch. Say three presidents, Clinton, Obama, and Biden, were the ones that spoke. Absolutely. Thanks from YouTube. What's going on, man? Appreciate it. I think you the guy that's from New Jersey. Thank you for popping in. This guy, I watched this guy, man. He's a good dude. Let's listen.
Is not one that the mainstream media expected, because instead of unity, people are asking a very uncomfortable question. Who was the funeral really about? And the moment you hear Jesse Jackson's own son say this, you start to understand why the internet exploded.
Yesterday, I listened for several hours of three United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message.
Now here's the lady.
When I looked at
Here's the lady.
They don't just show up for
Go ahead and
movements.
share.
They show up for moments.
Let's get the numbers
And
up.
funerals,
What's up,
especially
YouTube?
famous ones, have become political moments.
Let's hear.
This brings us to what most people started noticing immediately after the service.
When I tell you that I wanted to vomit when I looked at Reverend Jesse Jackson's funeral, I really literally thought that it was going to be a joyous occasion. I thought they were going to remember and list down everything that this man had achieved, all his legacies, the trials and tribulations that he went through. No, instead, these delusional, sorry, stinking bastard Democrats made it about them. I can't believe you all disrespected that damn man's funeral like that. And I'm not going to shut my mouth up any longer because that was so messed up what you all did. The family couldn't even grieve. But they basically told you bastards not to make it political, and you did it anyway. Y'all do not care about the family. Y'all didn't care about Jesse. Y'all didn't care about nothing. Y'all stomped on that man's time. That was his homegoing, and y'all made it about trying to push a political narrative that nobody wants to follow behind y'all on.
Politics.
Here go another one. We're going to go to another one, and we're going to go forward. But here go another one. Let's listen.
Doing the service. And Lord behold, not one Democrat listened. They just had to make it about themselves. All talking about Donald Trump rather than Jesse Jackson. Al Jigaboo Sharp and take his bobblehead ass crooked letter hijack the civil rights. We won't be bullied, okay? We gonna take our community. We gonna help our community. Man, if you don't shut your ass, you don't help no community. And go figure, the only ones that was in the audience praising his speech are the same type of people that he's able to capitalize and manipulate his whole career, which are black women. Obama talking about a whole bunch of nothing with that slow, smooth talking. Man, this ain't 2007, man. You can't bamboozle us no more. If you don't shut up and go figure out why Michael is throwing you under the bus lately, Joe Biden still don't know where he at. He still think he's on fucking Cybertron, fighting damn Autobots and shit. Ooh. Here comes Kamala Hoochie Mama her. I told you so. What did you tell us, Kamala? Because as far as I'm concerned, you didn't tell us a damn thing. That's why you lost. Jesus Christ.
Conservative.
Question starts.
And how they get denigrated. So the liberal can believe what the liberal wants to believe, and we can agree or disagree. But if a black conservative feels a certain way, they got to be a sellout to their community. They can't believe there's a better strategy to the economy. They can't believe there's a better strategy to addressing border issues. They can't believe there's a better strategy for affordability. Oh, no, it must be. And of course, they can't possibly disagree with some of the stuff that Trump is doing. Like the latest nonsense that he put out there where he's blaming black folks and speaking about the issues of slavery and things of that nature as something that's been unfavorable to white people. Like that should be ignored, like history should be erased. There ain't a week that goes by that I don't call Trump out or something from his administration. But we ignore that, don't we? Couldn't that fit the narrative? It's really unfortunate.
Stephen A. Is leaning. You know what I'm saying? He's been up under fire lately because people are saying that he's leaning Republican with his thoughts and his actions. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people are calling him names and calling him out. But I just say, look, black people, this is one thing I think black people have to, come across. Everybody don't think the same. And it's real bad when you call a person like, just because they don't think the same or feel the same, then they calling people, black people, sellouts and all of this and blah, 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 house Negroes and blah, blah, blah. Like, come on. There's a lot of black people that think different than the masses. I ain't gonna even say the masses. I think majority of black people really feel a certain way, but I think they're afraid to express it or talk about it is because they feel like they gonna get called out or called a name or called or whatever the case may be. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on to this last comment. Hey there, good evening. We're gonna go to this last comment, and then we're gonna go into the war and what's going on, because I think it's important. But yeah, let's listen to what this last guy got to say, and then if you guys want to comment, I'm gonna open up the phone lines. You can call in and whatever.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work.
Okay, let's go ahead and that. Let's skip that. All right, let's go.
Democratic shields always want to play tough after ran immediately. Do you remember when all the 92%ers ran immediately to the internet and declared that they was going to rest? Democratic shields always want to play tough after they lose an election. When they lose an election, they be the main ones talking about something. We only going to focus on black issues. We ain't helping nobody no damn more. As soon as they get the orders from their liberal slave master, they be the main one on the front line. Remember, y'all, right after the election in November 2024, they were telling black folks that we gonna rest and we ain't gonna help nobody. As soon as the damn ICE protest popped up, they were the main ones telling black Americans we was gonna get deported and we need to go get on the front line. They flip-flop in less than 6 damn months, family. Really, in less than 6 weeks, they was right back on it. Don't nobody believe no fake, tough Democratic shield. There ain't no such thing. You gonna do what your slave master tells you to do, and whatever the liberals tell you you need to do and achieve, you gonna go out there and you gonna chase it. Don't come at black Americans with that fake tough talk. You ain't resting nothing. Y'all was talking that resting stuff, and as soon as you need to get put on the front line to be the human shield while all the W liberals disappeared, you was doing that willingly. So all that talk now, y'all mad at Latinos, y'all sitting this next election out, all that talk where y'all's gonna stay away from the black and brown, y'all gonna be right on the damn front line as soon as that damn phone rings and they say, we need you, Blackie. And they gonna say, yes, sir, boss. We sit? No, we good. Go on the front line. Okay. Ain't nobody believing no Democratic shield. Let me tell you something, fam.
Wow. So yeah, what this guy is literally saying is that, and I guess to echo back and make a big circle around from the Jesse Jackson up to this point, is that politicalization of a thought of what you choose should not be held against you for what you're thinking. This is what I'm, so for those that are black people that have another thought or train of mind, you can't be scared of people calling your names and this and this. That. You can have this is what civil rights was for. This is what the freedom of speech is for you to be able to go ahead and express your thoughts and the things that you thought and contribute, because we all have different ideals and thoughts. And we all may have different ways of getting to a solution of a problem, but just because my direction might be a little bit different than yours don't make me better or worse than you. Just let's have an open mind, and maybe we might have to get some dialect done, and we might be able to help each other out of this, this quagmire that we in. But every and all of us have different mind states and thoughts of, thoughts of being and thoughts of mind. So I'm gonna open up the phone lines in a minute. Oh, we got some lookers on here. We got what we got? We got some people on YouTube. We got some people on Facebook watching. So yeah, I'm gonna open up the phone line. I gave a shout out to my brother, told him to come on in because we're gonna be talking about what's going on in Iran and what's going on in the world. I have a hypothesis. I have an idea of what I believe it's all about. I just have an idea on what it's all about. I could be wrong. I can be, corrected, but I have an idea. Don't pin me up against the wall because of my idea, but this is the way I'm looking at things. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and go and see what the Secretary of War, or basically a briefing about what's going on with the United States, and hear what he has to say, and let's listen real quickly.
As someone who led soldiers in the streets of Baghdad and Samarra, Iraq, and who trained counterinsurgents in Kabul, Afghanistan, and who still carries the weight of brothers lost to Iranian terrorist proxies, many backed by the same Iranian regime we're confronting now. This fight, Operation Epic Fury, it hits home. Our generation understands this fight. For 47 years, these barbaric savages in the Iranian regime have murdered our brothers in arms, my guys, your guys. our guys. Through their terrorist proxies and cowardly attacks, now they race toward a nuclear bomb to hold the world hostage. The Iranians have targeted and killed thousands of my American brothers. That race to a nuclear bomb, President Trump will never allow it. Not now, not ever.
So this right now is what it's all about. Fires per se is what's being portrayed to the media, or what being portrayed to the people, that it's about a race to nuclear arms with Iran. Of course, 6-7 months ago, 5, 6, 7 months ago, there was an Operation Midnight Hammer that was deployed into Iran to destroy, with bunker busters, to destroy nuclear facilities and proliferation of the enriched uranium that is used to create a nuclear bomb. From what intelligence was saying is that the uranium was 60% enriched, and Iran was approximately, let's say, a couple of weeks away from securing a nuclear weapon. Uranium has to be enriched to a certain point beyond 60%. Is it 80%? I don't know, 80 or 90% enriched in order to have weapons grade nuclear weapon. United States came in with Midnight Hammer, did the bunker buster, and destroyed the proliferation. Now, from our understanding, they went back in because the Iranians did not cease through negotiations, even though they was negotiating. This is I'm telling you what was being said per the news. Iran was continuing to work on securing nuclear weapons, meaning that they were still trying to enrich uranium. With that happening, the United States said, no, it's not going to happen. And they went in and they found a perfect opportunity to be able to get their Ayatollah and some leaders, some other official leaders. We're all in, a situation we're all together at once, crazily. Like, I don't know why, but they were. United States found some intelligence. They went out and did a broad daylight strike, and they killed the Ayatollah, a lot of the leaders, and then thrust, United States into strikes and Israel into joint strikes, bombing, air raiding, basically decimating Iran's air force. They no longer have an air force. Decimating Iran's navy. Iran no longer has a navy. And right now, basically almost total air superiority over the skies or over Iran right now. Iran, as of yesterday, has raised a new Ayatollah. So it's some different types of things. A lot of the leadership that has been killed or died, so they just going down the ranks. So the previous Ayatollah that got killed, his son is now the new Ayatollah. But here's the thing: he hasn't came out and said he's the Ayatollah. So nobody really knows who's in leadership over in Iran right now. The prime minister, or not the prime, pretty much their prime minister or whatnot, is doing communications via news outlets. So Iran has they have a way of doing things. They have a prime minister, they have a president, but they have a supreme Ayatollah also. So I don't really get, they chain of command of how they got things going. But right now, as it stands, Iran military fires when it comes to air superiority, they're done. pretty much. They don't have an Air Force. Let's just call it what it is. That's over with. Their Navy is decimated. They have no Navy. All of their ships, all of their warships have been sunk from intelligence and what's been reported. Their downfires, drone strikes and ballistic missile strikes have percentage-wise been going down daily. So some seem to feel like now their capability is diminishing. Their prime minister says he wants that Iran is ready for a ground war. They want the United States or Israel, whatever, to come in and try what they want to do on a level of a ground attack. That's what they say they want. But, I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see that happen. Strategically, the United States, if they're going about this war, they're going about it the right way. You have to take air superiority. They took over the skies. They took over the water. This is really just an unfortunate situation. But I have an ideal of what I believe is happening and what the United States is trying to preserve. And I heard one guy say the other day, and I really got to take it to steal his saying. And this is the world. The world that y'all believe that we live in is a false world that y'all believe that we live in. Like where it was dandelions and tulips and we running through the bushes, you know what I mean? Just happy-go-lucky, and the world is where we mind our business and everything will be okay. It don't even work like that in your neighborhood. It doesn't work like that in your neighborhood. You're going to have a big dog, a little dog, and a dead dog. And I got that from Sarai Suit said. I got to give him his props. But he said something that's real major. We don't live in no type of world that you believe that we live in, where if we just mind our business as a person or an entity or a country, that everything is going. There's so much going on outside of the United States that people are not even thinking about how or what is going on. Let me go ahead and take some. You like the hat? Thank you. Hey, what's up, Monique? What's up, girl? So much is going on in the world that people is not even recognizing what's really happening. Russia is playing. This is what the whole reason. I just had this conversation with my brother. A lot of people say, why United States trying to invade and do this and do this and do that? It's the same reason that Russia is trying to go ahead and take Ukraine. It's the same reason that China is trying to take Taiwan back. Everybody is moving their chess pieces into place. If you like it or not, one day soon, or maybe not so soon, hopefully, there is going to probably be a world conflict. And I'm hoping that we off by a long way and a long shot. But I really believe what the United States is doing is stacking the chessboard. And I'm gonna give you a synopsis of how I feel this. And I could be wrong, but I sat back today after I got home and I thought about this. And I took a world map. I looked at the world map. Let me go ahead and pull it up. I'm gonna pull up the world map real quick. Boom. Pull up the world map. Make sure you guys can see that. Boom. And I'm gonna give you all my synopsis on how I feel what's happening. I'm just gonna tell you what I think is happening right here. So right there, what you're looking at right here, this is Saudi Arabia right here. Iran is right here, y'all. So you got Africa, Israel, right here. We got Saudi Arabia. Where my mouse at? Right there. That's Iran. Okay. Iran is a big place, huge place. But let's go on over to the United States. This is where I live, and this is where you live. And we're going to talk about what I believe is going on. Yeah, but everyone, president, countries, regular people, mind their own business and be kind and helpful we would be good. This mess ain't going to stress me out. But yeah, thank you. But ain't nobody really minding their business. All these countries ain't never minding their business. And I'm just going to echo what I've been saying. The United States has been footing the bill for all these countries, especially especially the Americas. The United States has been footing the bill for Canada for a long time, giving air, foot, ground, water defense for Canada forever. This is right here is Greenland, people. So Greenland is right up top. So I'm going to give you my whole theory of what I feel was going on. We got Mexico going into South America. Venezuela is right here. This is where the United States went down and took care of. So United States right now has something going on called the Shield of Americas right now. It's called the Monroe Doctrine. All right. The Monroe Doctrine is that anything that's in the Western Hemisphere, which you see right here on this map, which is Canada, Greenland up top, Greenland, North America, which is the United States, Canada, Alaska right up here. We all are interconnected as much. I'm trying to break this down so you can really check this out. We have Mexico, Central America, whatever, South America. The only reason why nobody comes and mess with none of this stuff is basically Canada. They ain't gonna mess with us direct. Or South America like that is because of the prowess and the power of the United States of America. What is happening is I believe the United States is going back or trying to go to the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine is this. Anything that's in the Western Hemisphere, which is all it is, which you see right here, Greenland, North America, Central America, South America, don't touch it. That's the Monroe Doctrine. And the Monroe Doctrine came from President Monroe. Any and everything over here don't touch. Meaning that if anything that's infiltrating, anything that y'all doing over here on this side of the world, Asia, Russia, Europe, all of whatever y'all got going on over here, long as it does not interfere in a way that's bad, long as it doesn't interfere over here, we good. Y'all don't have no say to our way of life, nothing that y'all doing. Export, imports, influence, or nothing. The Monroe Doctrine is that the United States basically controls this side of the world. That's what the Monroe Doctrine is. And that's what they're doing right now. They call it the Shield of the Americas. Look it up, the Shield of Americas. It's a true, real thing. And it's the presidents and the ministers of these American countries, North America, of course, the America, Central America, and South America. So what the United States is doing, in my opinion, is they're securing their half of the world. And since the United States is basically protecting North America, Central America, and South America, the United States is like, yo, we about to call the shots. Right or wrong. I'm just telling you my whole theory on this. You're close on theory, but you're missing out on a really big important piece. Tell me, John, I ain't afraid to listen. I'm hearing you. So this is my theory. I could be wrong, John. All right, we got a phone call. Hold on 1 second. Make sure we got you. Phone call. Can you hear me? A caller. Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, can you hear me?
Caller, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, caller. Who am I speaking with?
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Great. Who am I speaking with?
John.
Hey, what's up, John? Tell me what you're thinking, man. Tell me you said I'm missing a piece. Tell me what the piece I'm missing.
You're missing one really big. You're so close. You got all the way there.
Tell me.
So your Monroe Doctrine is completely accurate.
Okay.
The one thing you're missing is what is right now, who or what is the absolute largest threat to the United States and the entire Western Hemisphere, both financially, economically, and militarily.
Who is it?
Yeah.
I would say country-wise, I would believe that maybe China is.
Exactly.
Right.
How do you cripple a country like that? What is the most important thing to any country?
Energy, oil.
Energy.
Yeah.
Okay. So 20% of 20% of China's oil
right
came from Iran. That is a massive amount. That is 1/5. That is critical. So you can think of like taking 1/5 of your paycheck away, right? That's a fucking massive. Sorry, pardon my French. That is a massive amount. And also, 38% of China's total oil income passed through the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
From other countries.
Right.
Like the UAE and Qatar. Now all of that is cut off. So it's a chess game.
Exactly.
Exactly. Are you familiar with what a proxy? Are you familiar with what a proxy war is?
Absolutely. Explain it to the viewers.
Yeah. So for your viewers and listeners, a proxy war is a way of fighting a war without physically having boots on the ground or doing anything. It's doing things through other ways, whether it's psychologically or economically or other ways. This is how you bring down your enemy without actually fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you avoid a China-Taiwan conflict.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you avoid China affecting the United States economically.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you avoid a lot of all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what Donald Trump and this current administration, this is the path that they decided they wanted to go down.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm with you on that. I mean, because exactly, you have to, okay, we know that China honestly is the main threat. I don't believe that it's Russia at all. I believe that it's China that is the main threat.
Not at all. It's China.
It's China, and like you said, they getting most of their energy or their oil or a huge portion of their energy from Iran. So a good way to go ahead and everybody, and this is what I'm trying to explain to everybody without people getting offended. Every country right now, even Russia, China, the superpowers, everybody is trying to stack the chessboard in their favor right now. It's just what's happening. And everybody, it's the same thing with Russia and Ukraine. It's a military reason why they're doing that. It's a reason why China wants Taiwan. There's a reason why Russia took Crimea. There's a reason why, because everybody's trying to get their foot.
Taiwan is because of microchip manufacturing.
But it goes back to military though. You need microchips for these weapons. You need this is
not just military. It's the entire. It's world
it's
control.
A type of world.
Every single microchip, almost in every single thing. It almost every single one is pretty much manufactured in Taiwan.
Absolutely.
It's a combination of the workers and their ability to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Then also it's a geological or geographical area. There's been several companies that have tried to start up microchip companies in, for instance, like Texas.
Mm-hmm.
If you're manufacturing a microchip at the microscopic level that we do today, even the tiniest tremor in the earth
will destroy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a combination of a geographical area and the expertise and knowledge of the people that have been doing it there for so long. So the other thing is too, you go back, Venezuela provided about 5% almost of China's oil. So now within a month period, we have literally completely cut off close to 40% or more of China's oil energy supply. That's how you do that.
And the same thing is going on with Cuba right now. And I was going to talk about what's going on with Cuba, because I feel like the same thing that happened with Venezuela is about to come up with Cuba very, very, very soon. Because Cuba is just running out of steam right now, as far as what's going on with, as far as their energy crisis right now. And there's a reason why. Like, I'm trying to explain to people and make them understand that you, as the United States, you just really can't sit back and just say, hey, we're not going to do anything. Everybody that has power in the world is trying to position themselves for dominance. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Venezuela and Iran is a huge blessing for the people there. What is happening? But the thing with Cuba is it literally does not hold any strategic. It has zero strategic advantage.
Well,
for China or anything else.
Well, here's the thing.
That would just be.
Cuba was actually allowing, if I understood or saw right, and for a long time they had a standing relationship with Russia, and Russia would, from my understanding, dock ships there, do exercises there. They had a relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? So I think the United States it goes back to the Monroe Doctrine. It might not be a strategic military or something, but hey, they in this hemisphere, we want it. And I believe that's where their mindset is.
Militarily, it's strategic, but like in world economics, it holds a almost like negative level on strategy in worldwide economics and in economics for the Western Hemisphere. Cuba could think about it. Cuba could literally just not exist as of tomorrow, and we would see zero effects of that. I know that sounds terrible for me to say, but like I'm trying to get a point across. You know what I mean? Like Cuba.
You saying that they don't manufacture anything that's going to be able to affect the world economy? That's basically
nothing there.
Right.
Yeah, there's no. They have zero export. There's nothing there that they export. They don't export anything that is. They
export sugar, but I guess you can get that anywhere. Not anywhere, but some places better than others.
You got sugarcane fields all up and down Florida. Florida's been going through lawsuits with between sugarcane farmers and the state of Florida for the last 80 years. Most of almost all the sugar in the United States, or most of it, like comes from the state of Florida with the sugarcane farmers.
Gotcha. Okay.
We've never imported any sugar from Cuba.
No, we didn't do it. But I understand that's the relationship that they had with Russia. Russia was exporting and they were getting some resources from Russia and Iran or whatever, but they were exporting sugar to that way. I got a good guy that pops in every now and again. He was on my show last time. Cuba, tobacco, and sugar supply most of Europe. So that's combating kind of what you said, John.
Yeah, some of Europe. Cuban tobacco is very different than tobacco from other areas of South America and Central America and North America. I don't know if you know that, but have you ever smoked do you smoke cigarettes or?
No.
Probably not, right?
No.
Yeah.
I've had a cigar, two or three, but I don't know exactly how, you know, I mean, if I'm getting something good or not. That's how not of a connoisseur I am.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, Cuban tobacco is extremely different. It's very, very, very strong. It's a very different type of tobacco than what comes from North America. Like North Carolina is probably one of the largest producers of tobacco in North America, right? And then you've got a couple other tobacco manufacturers in the south part of Central America and in the northern part of South America. And then there's other, you know, there's also like tobacco producers in Africa and other areas of the world, all in the Indian Pacific Ocean islands, all over. But
you're saying from your perspective,
think, like,
you're saying from your perspective that it doesn't hold much weight. Far as they have some things that they do export or they do produce, but ultimately,
yeah, that's why that's why we didn't see, and we're not going to see any like the Maduro
situation
operation.
Right.
Yeah, we're not going to see that happen. Like it's just like.
So what is your thought?
It's like making a chess move that serves no purpose.
Gotcha.
Towards your end goal.
Yeah.
Right.
So they just wanted to have it.
Don't waste the move on your end goal.
Right. Well, hey, John, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling in. Now you calling in from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, I appreciate you for watching, man. I really do. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being a friend of the show, man. And if you want to one day, man, I can actually send you a link one day, and actually you can come on. And then because, you know, what I like to do with this show, it's not about what my viewpoint is 100%. It's about whoever's watching. And I try to just take all sides, like some stuff that you told me that I really didn't probably know about Cuba. You know what I mean? So I can get a little bit more, you know, versed on what's going on right there.
Not
take on, you know what I'm saying? So
like
it's not about who knows what. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a proxy war against China.
Right. Absolutely. So. And I'm with you on that. Thanks, John, man. Give me a call next time we come on, man. But I want to send you, if you could, I don't know if, I don't know how.
Well, you have my number now, right?
Yeah, I got your number, man. So I can send you a link, text, man. And next time I can just say, hey, here's the link if you want to jump on, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
Send me a text.
Sure will.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was John from New Jersey, y'all. See, we getting some reach. But yeah, I mean, I believe what he's saying about, you know, but I also believe what you're saying also, Gil, that there's some, you know, some things. I believe that, you know, when it comes to Cuba, that there's a reason why. I don't know if the United States is just not wants Cuba just for no reason, but also I believe that the United States does want to control the whole Western Hemisphere. And I do believe that it is a proxy war against China, because China does get majority or a lot of their oil resources from Iran. And with the United States basically maybe trying to get in control of Iran, that's going to be a war, or that's going to be a one less resource that China actually has. Okay. So I think the United States is trying to assert its, you know, its prowess after actually losing so much standing in the world for a while now. You know what I'm saying? Even when it comes down to this piece of land right here, Greenland, a lot of people don't understand why the United States wants this piece of land. This piece of land is so important to the United States defense. And I'm going to tell you why. Greenland is where the United States basically more or less will have its Golden Dome at. Okay. The Golden Dome is a missile defense system. The Golden Dome is if any nation that has nuclear power shoots a nuclear weapon to the United States. I know you think that the weapon will go from left to right to left. It won't get shot like that. If anything gets shot, it's going to be over, because that's the shortest route. It's not straight. So you see I don't know if you guys see my mouse right here. I don't think if you see my mouse, I don't know if you see it. It's not going to be right to or left to right if a missile gets shot. It's going to be the closest distance on a globe that's round is up and over. The Golden Dome is actually what the missile defense system this is why they want Greenland, to put the missile defense system there. So if any nuclear weapons are shot, this will be the first line of defense, which will protect the mainland, or hopefully protect the mainland of the United States from nuclear attack. This is why Greenland, and the talk about Greenland, is so important to the United States, or they're talking about it. Also, China and Russia have been kind of hanging around and snooping around Greenland. And the United States is kind of like, yo, that's too close to home. This is where we trying to have our missile defense system, and we don't want you there. This is the reason why Greenland is important. So right now, let's take the face of who the president is right now. And I think a lot of times we're getting caught up in who the president is. Let's just think about security and where we are right now. I'm in the United States. And if anything pops off, I want to make sure that we got protection, or the best protection thereof. You know what I'm saying? So whatever they got to do, if Greenland, I'm not saying that I'm with, but I'm with going in and taking land. I'm not saying that I'm with that, but the whole world, look, people, at the end of the day, how do you think this world was established, right or wrong? It's about going to different land, and it ain't start with the United States, and it ain't gonna end with the United States. It's the same thing that happened. This is the same reason that Russia, we can go back over to Russia. This is the same reason that Russia wanted Crimea or wanted Ukraine, because it's strategic. If war happens, a major world war happens, it's the same reason for Taiwan. It's the same reason that these countries are really bidding to find a foothold. It ain't about who you like. It's about what's happening. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a big dog, it's going to be a little dog, and it's going to be a dead dog. Regardless on how much you don't like a lot of people talk and say United States this and United States that, it ain't nowhere like it. United States is number one with all our problems, faults, and this and that. We all know it. Racism, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z, we know it. And not saying and discounting any of it. We know it. And it's not right. But with all our problems, the United States is still better, in my opinion, than any of these other places. I ain't trying to go there. So it's like, think of the three world powers, the top three world powers, the United States, Russia, and China. Who right now that's listening to me wants to go live in Russia or China right now? Since the United States is so bad, look, ain't nobody willing to change their way of life, regardless on how bad you think, or how, he's not trying to do it. So this is where we are. Unfortunately, things like this happens and has to happen in some type of way. But I think right now what the United States is doing, in my opinion, is shoring up strategic masses of land. Like John said, I do believe what he said with proxy war. I think this war that's in Iran is strategic. It's to cut off the oil pipeline, because quite honestly, also Iran, what I learned over the last couple of days, Iran and Russia were in collaboration of having a railway from Iran to Russia was being built, and it was to swap resources, more or less. So the United States probably like, Russia on war front with Ukraine, they stretched out right now. I think it was all strategic, but I also think that, at the end of the day, things are what they are. This was my theory, but I'm for the home team. I'm for the home team. And who likes war? Nobody likes war. I want this thing to be over with. But this is my whole ideal of what's going on. I think the United States is on the doctrine of the Monroe Doctrine, and it's more of an imperialistic ideal. And the United States wants to control the whole Western Hemisphere. And I understand why the United States wants to control the whole Western Hemisphere. It's because primarily the United States is protecting the whole Western Hemisphere anyway. So that's the ideal thought, and that's the thought behind it. Hey, we protecting the whole thing anyway. The reason why Russia and China don't go take Greenland anyway is because the United States is really up there like that. The only reason that people don't go take Canada, because Canada is a vast land. Canada is a vast land. Why do you think the United States went and took, or they made the deal with Russia for Alaska? There was a strategic reason to get Alaska. There's really no big reason to have Alaska besides it being a buffer between Russia, because a lot of people don't know Russia and Alaska meet right here. It's a land it get wintertime and it get cold. You can walk across from Russia to Alaska. So there's a reason strategically why the United States acquired Alaska, and why there's so many people that's military people. I had a friend of mine that graduated with me high school, and she got stationed in Alaska. Why there's so many military personnel in Alaska? Because we're so close to Russia. So there was a reason why the United States acquired Alaska. So all of these things are strategic around the world. The world we live in is not hunky-dory. It's not tulips and rainbows. Everybody, just because you don't see these other countries doing a lot of little chess moves, don't mean that they're not doing it. Don't think just because you see United States doing this and you don't understand that the United States is being bullied and all this and this and that. A lot of these other countries are doing the same exact thing, but we're not hearing it on the news like that, or you're not paying attention to because you're not there. So understand, just with the same thing that you're saying about the United States or crying about, it's happening over here too. But they doing it on a level where we're not paying attention to it. But the powers that be, are they paying attention to it? They paying attention to it. And I think I believe what the United States is doing at this point is like making their foothold of what it is going to be. Look, we control all of this and don't mess with it. We willing to trade, we willing to do this and this and that. But I really think that the United States is trying to get out of world affairs like that, where they have so many footholds in all these different places. That's what I believe. But we so tied up in it, that you kind of got to be strong to get out of it. We so tied up. The United States purchased Alaska for $7 million-ish in 1860 from Russia before oil was discovered there and before Russia was an enemy. But it took a lot of forethought, because when that purchase was made, John, and thank you for bringing that bit of reality to us. When that purchase was made, somebody was thinking ahead. Somebody was thinking ahead. There was, like, the United States, when they purchased Alaska, didn't know it was oil, but they saw something or knew something that, hey, we probably need to have a buffer between the old world and the new world. We need a buffer. This is a land bridge from the old world to the new world right here. We got to have a buffer. When that purchase was made, we didn't know what that was that we was getting, but somebody had the forethought or the wherewithal to purchase that piece of land or acquire that land strategically. And somebody said, that's going to be, if this is the buffer to the old world, we got to get it. And they did. Even look at all these islands coming off Alaska. You can get right to Russia from right here. Asia, right here. You know what I'm saying? So the world is a lot smaller than we think. We're just not looking at it like that. We're not really looking at it like that. And I think that's what most of our problem is. We got a vast ocean between the continents, different continents outside of ours. That's right here, that we not thinking on a world view, on a strategic view. And the world now with technology is so small. And this is one thing that people don't understand. With even a missile, a ballistic or a nuclear weapon, China even said this. They can shoot a nuclear weapon right now, and it can reach any place in the world within 20 minutes. That's how small the world really is, y'all. So what's happening right now with these countries and what's going on is they positioning themselves. That's what the main thing is. And I mean, take feelings out of it, and that's what it is. It is a secure, it was to secure Pacific trade routes and to act as a stop against British expansion through Canada. Hey, so somebody was thinking, right? Somebody was thinking, John, and it turned out to be something good, right? It 100% worked out today's current situation the last 80 years. Exactly. It was, that was, they bought it for one thing, and you know what I'm saying, and look at it now. Because think about this, man. If the United States didn't own doggone Alaska right now, and Russia still owned it, bruh, they would be right on the coast, right down here from Portland, Seattle. They right up the street, basically. People, all I'm saying is open up your mind and think on a world view. Like, the world is real interconnected, and a lot of things are happening. A lot of things that are happening right now on the world front, as far as the United States is doing. Not saying that right. I'm not saying that's wrong. A lot of it is preventative, and a lot of it is and some of it is reactionary. But I think a lot of things that are happening right now is more of on a preventative measure. Because the last thing you want to be doing in a war situation is being reactive and being because of the worst position to actually be in life, period, is being in a reactive state. You want to catch or attack the problem before the problem really gets to you. Then you fighting from behind. So I'm not, who wants war? I'm not looking for it. I don't want it. I want it to be over, whatever the case may be, and to get this thing situated or whatever. But from my point of view, from what I'm looking at it, this is all, I don't think this is reactionary, what's going on. I think it's probably preventative actions that's happening. I could be wrong, but that's why I open up the phone lines for you guys to give me a call. That's why I, have an open opinion for a lot of things I could be wrong about. But I want to go ahead and play some footage real quickly before we get too late and close it out tonight. You say there's a lot that's wrong and a lot that's good. It's a matter of perspective based off the knowledge and forward thinking. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and just take a look. That was my world map. That was my thought synopsis on, what's going on in the world. Let's I want to go ahead and talk about or hear about what's going on in Iran. So let's listen up.
The U.S. and its allies have struck more than 5,000 targets in Iran. That's according to U.S. Central Command. And our CBS News data team looked into specific targets and found that the combined forces have struck 50 Iranian ships. Other targets include 30 military bases and institutions, 11 government leadership compounds, 4 energy facilities, and 2 nuclear research labs. Now, one of the stated goals for this war is to destroy all of Iran's ballistic missiles. CBS News found that 23 launch sites have been destroyed, including at least 200 launchers. This new video, uploaded by an Iranian news agency, appears to show a Tomahawk cruise missile striking a facility next to a girls' school. Now, multiple weapons experts told CBS News the United States was the only country involved in the conflict at this specific time, and that was also known to have this kind of weapon. This missile is made by American defense contractor Raytheon, which also sells it to allied countries like Japan and Australia. As many as 175 people were killed in that strike, most of them schoolgirls between the ages of 7 and 12 years old. Now, this video shows a mass grave being prepared for victims of that attack. Sources told CBS News that a preliminary assessment found that the U.S. is, quote, likely responsible for the strike on that school. A person briefed on the preliminary intelligence told CBS News the school may have been targeted by mistake, possibly due to the use of outdated intelligence, which wrongly identified the location as still being part of an Iranian military installation.
Now, what I'm hearing what is being said, okay, is that a lot of these missile sites, launch sites, are being put in civilian areas like schools, like hospitals, or being near to either deter an attack or to, if there is an attack, to say, hey, the United States did this and it was a hospital or it was a girls' school, it was a school. So this is what they're saying, that a lot of these attacks or these launch sites are actually, a lot of these launch sites are basically parlaying at schools. They're really not, but that's what the word or the intelligence is saying.
Here's what President Trump told reporters when asked about that attack.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brent Smallwood, Chief Strategy Officer.
All right, Brent.
I think it's something that I was told is under investigation, but Tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have Tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report.
Wow.
Now, Iran has responded to the U.S. military campaign with attacks of its own. At least 12 countries in the Middle East have been hit, with U.S. and Israeli interests being heavily targeted. 18 U.S. and allies military installations have been hit so far, including Prince Sultan Air Base and a U.S. Air Force base in Saudi Arabia, where a U.S. soldier died in that attack. 8 civilian locations like hotels, 6 airports, and 6 energy facilities and vessels have also been hit. Now, in a Pentagon briefing today, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. is winning in the war with Iran and says its leaders are desperate and scrambling.
We're crushing the enemy in an overwhelming display of technical skill and military force. We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. But we do so on our timeline and at our choosing.
Joining us.
All right. So as we see, it's going, it's going, right? From what it looked like, a lot of military installations have been destroyed by the United States and Israel. In Iran, the United States keeps saying that the worst is yet to come as far as the attack or attacks. Like, they ain't seen nothing yet, more or less. Iran is posturing, saying they want boots on the ground to come in. So, at the end of the day, like I say, that's really Iran's only thing they can say, quite honestly, because they have no Air Force anymore, and they have no Navy anymore. A lot of their missiles are degraded. A lot of their piles or their stock or whatever it is, as far as their drones, is decimated. So, I mean, hopefully with that being the case, things slow down or something happens where we can get past this. I don't want to see boots on the ground, but I know eventually maybe there might have to be boots on the ground because even after, let's say even after the air war or whatever the case may be, you're still going to need some type of ground troops to go ahead and go into the fortresses or go into and put a foothold in the land. But the United States keeps saying that we're not trying to be an occupying force. So the Israeli forces might be doing that. It's a lot, I don't know. It's a lot that I don't know about. I'm trying to follow this as closely as possible. And that's why I'm open to listening and hearing people's opinions or what they think or what they think about it. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be open-minded and hear what people have to say about it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm team where I stay. And where I stay is in the United States, and it's the team that I'm on. So I want my team. I want my team to win. And you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. And I want us to be victorious, but I want, the world as a whole to be at peace. But it's just it's just unfortunate but this is the world that we live in. So if it's now or 30 years from now or 30 years before that, we never lived in a world that was peachy king and people minded their business. That's not how the world go. Even if the United States set and minded their own business, another country not gonna mind theirs. So you know what I'm saying? So it's just not gonna happen. That's not the world we live in. And with the United States being a superpower, what right now they're trying to do is secure being number one. And that's just what it is. And that's the way that I see it. I think the Monroe Doctrine was pretty much well broken down by me. Hopefully, if you listen, you understand. Look that up, the Monroe Doctrine that came out by President Monroe. And that's for the United States to pretty much control the Western Hemisphere and stay out of people's business. That's pretty much what the Monroe Doctrine was. The United States really, after World War II, the United States really allowed a lot of different countries and a lot of different places to mooch and milk off the United States. Quite honestly, you know what I'm saying? Quite honestly, we did a lot of nation building for a lot of different countries. And the United States had its industrial revolution and things like that. But after a while, the United States just stopped producing. The United States stopped doing what made the United States as far as production and in the world, as far as innovation. We spent so much time building, I believe, in being in foreign affairs and building up other countries and societies that we really let ours go to waste. And a lot of people crying right now talking about ain't no jobs. It ain't about, if it ain't no jobs and the economy is messed up, it just didn't happen in the last 12 months. You see what I'm saying? It just didn't happen in the last 24 months. It's a buildup of what happened over an accumulation of years in history. Just go back and look at it and the deals that the United States have done. And it trickled down into major cities. And it trickled down from major cities to the small cities. And that's why we are where we are. I always take it back to where I'm from, Pontiac, Michigan. I always take it back to where I'm from. So goes the United States, giving up a lot of just take it as simple as this. United States giving up its foothold in car manufacturing. It giving up its foothold in car manufacturing. Therefore, take it down to the state level. Michigan takes a major hit. Michigan takes a major hit. Michigan, biggest city, Detroit takes a huge hit because that's the whole economy, basically, of Detroit. Detroit takes a major hit. Pontiac takes an even bigger hit. which is a metro area of Detroit. So bad decisions made on a this is what people not understanding. Bad decisions made on a national level that enhanced other countries internationally, hindered statewide, major citywide, local citywide, therefore having a lot of people lose their jobs and livelihood. I remember my mother saying she can graduate, when she graduated in high school, 1968 or something like that. You barely had to have a high school education. And most times a lot of people didn't. And they went straight to work at the plant, manufacturing. But those jobs, with the deals that were made, forget this administration, other administrations prior, lost our manufacturing jobs. So therefore, if you lose your car manufacturing, now you're dealing with the rubber industry. So whoever made those bad deals back then, look at who the presidents was back then. Now you lost your rubber. Now you lost your steel. Now you lost your aluminum. Now you lost your upholstery or your cotton or whatever else it is, take the polyester, put the cloth or whatever on the. Now you lost all these different industries and they go in other places. But now as we lost manufacturing, we still the number one consumer. So now we don't produce, but we consume. How long can you stay in business like that? That's like me having my business, the podcast studio. I'm still paying rent on the facility in the building, but I have nobody coming. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a how long can you sustain if you're not producing? And that's the key to this country. You got to be able to produce and bring businesses back. And I think that's what it's all about right now. I think the United States like, hey, we're going to control this Western hemisphere out of this Monroe Doctrine. Look it up, y'all. Look it up. The Americas, the shield of the Americas. It's North America. It's Central and South America. And it's the leaders and how they can do business amongst themselves. That's, you know what I'm saying, where they don't have to worry about dealing with anybody in the Eastern hemisphere. And if they do, it's going to be a fair trade. It's going to be a fair agreement where the United States is just not giving and not getting much back. Also, I think during this war in Iran, also, I believe that some things have been, I think the United States also was trying to figure out who their real allies was, because I think the United States was, had some type of situation with Britain, where Britain wasn't allowing the United States to dock or use a base of theirs for military purposes. And the Britons or the Brits, what you want to, their parliament had a real whoop-de-doo about that, because they're saying at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the United States is basically protecting Britain too. So the United States is offering a lot of protection all the way around the world, but it's not getting back certain things. So I think with this going on right now, it's a couple of things that's happening with this Iran situation. I believe what John said is one thing that's happening. Also, is drawing a line in the sand. Who are the real allies? Who are the real allies? I'm thinking the United States is finding out who the real allies are. They're trying to bring the manufacturing back. Is how, well, yes, we have the largest and best military in the world, but we don't have manufacturing ability to sustain conflict. And that's true. That's true. So, you guys, that was my take for tonight on the situation. Prayerfully, at the end of the day, you guys, God is in control. And nothing that's happening can't happen without his section or he knows what's going on. For this time, he already knows it. We just living in it. We just living it out, y'all. But I'm trying to make sense of it, of something that was already mapped out from the beginning of time. So it's, we can argue about it and we could talk about it and disagree and agree with it. It don't make a difference. It's all was written. You know what I mean? It's all was written. We just trying to make sense of it. But I don't try to make sense of it. I'm just trying to I can look at it and kind of see what from my perspective, what it is. And it makes sense what's happening from the perspective of the United States. And it makes sense when I look at it from the perspective of other countries. I understand why China's doing what they're doing. I understand why Russia's doing what they're doing. I understand why Iran was doing what they're doing. I understand why all these different little places are doing what because they want the best position. And at the end of the day, you're going to be a big dog, you're going to be a little dog, or you're going to be a dead dog. Which one y'all want to be? Which, and that's just the fact of the matter. And I give out a shout out to Sarah Sutton-Seti for making it plain and making me understand what he was saying, because check that brother out. But he kind of broke down some world map things and stuff, and it kind of made sense to me. With that being said, you guys, it's 10 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time, and I'm about to get some rest. Thanks for hanging on with me. You know what I mean? I'm getting more and more participation each and every time that I come on here, which means it's more fun. I'm just, it's been times, you guys, I'll be sitting there, I'll be talking to one person, be talking to myself. It'll be 0 on the counter. It'll be nobody. And I'll be like, yo. But, again, I like to do these types of things, just not to only have educated discussion. And even if we disagree, it's cool. But everybody is welcome to come on if they ever want to come on the show or call in when they want to call in. And that's what WYAC is all about. So I just want to go ahead and just everybody have a good remainder of the week. I'll be looking forward to get back with you guys probably on this Saturday. The rest of my week is looking pretty hectic. Your boy, like I said, was pretty tired yesterday, and but something just told me get on up and just have a little fun with you guys, or talk some news and whatnot. And maybe we can have some more interesting guests coming up. John, I'd like to thank you, man, for popping on all the way from New Jersey. I appreciate that. The last couple of times we did have some good participation for some people, some newsworthy things that's been happening around here. So I'd like to appreciate you all. You all have a wonderful night. Don't forget to say your prayers. Thank God for your activity of your limbs, your fingers, your feet, your hands. You can do some things without nobody having to do everything for you. Those are things are very important. For the little bit of ducats and a little bit of money that you got in your pocket, be thankful for it. Be wise with it. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what's going to happen, right? But enjoy your money too. Enjoy your money too. You can't take it with you. You know what I'm saying? And then you leave your money with somebody, man, and they go ahead and mess it up. So why don't you mess up a little bit? Hey, get something that you like. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to convince myself to enjoy it a little, enjoy things a little bit more. If I want something, get something, but don't overdo it. You know what I mean? So if you work hard, you guys go ahead and get yourself a little something that you enjoy, that you like. Help where you can. And, with that being said, I bid you guys a wonderful night. Keep God first, family second, and you third. And in that order, you should never be made last, because the last is made first. WYAC. And we out. Peace.